Welcome inside the Citrus TV studios for another webisode of Cuse Countdown. We'll be previewing Syracuse and NC State. Michael Barth, Michael Tricarico, and Ben Roth. Guys, first off, though, no Eric Dungy in this game. What does that do for the SU offense?
It means this SU offense is definitely going to be a run-oriented team. Zach Mahoney can throw it through the air, but he runs the triple option so well. I don't expect Tim Lester or the Syracuse offense to do anything different than keep running that option and give Mahoney the read.
Absolutely. You saw Mahoney run the option so well against Clemson, and that's what he's been doing in his games against LSU, Clemson. He's a good runner, and so I think Tim Lester, as you mentioned, is going to keep running him out there and not throw the ball through the air.
All right, well, on Saturday, Syracuse will be traveling down to Raleigh to take on the Wolfpack, and the road has been unkind to the Orange throughout the Scott Shafer era. If you look at that record, 2-3 2013, 2-3 2014, 0-4 in 2015. Guys, what does this tell you about Scott Shafer?
Well, it certainly means that maybe he needs to use some extra motivation for his teams on the road. This year, of course, a young team, that might play a factor into that. But one of those two wins in 2013 against NC State, maybe Scott Shafer, some magic in Raleigh, can get a win for his Syracuse team.
It's certainly been ugly on the road for the Orange, no doubt about that.
Well, moving on to the game on Saturday, Michael Tricarico, give me your X factor against NC State.
I'm going to go with turnovers. NC State is a team that doesn't turn the ball over that much, especially through the air. Their quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, only 2 interceptions so far this year. NC State +8 turnover margin. Syracuse has a +4, so both teams good in the turnover margin department. The Wolfpack, 45 points off turnovers this year. I think this one's really going to come down to which team can get that extra turnover and win the turnover battle.
Interesting that you mentioned turnovers because last year, turnovers were the reason NC State beat Syracuse at the Dome. My X factor is going to be Zach Mahoney. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do against an unranked team. As I mentioned, he's only started against LSU and Clemson, so 2 of the best teams in the nation. So he's drawing at NC State, and he must be jumping up and down because he finally gets a team. I mean, NC State's over 500, but they're not an LSU or Clemson. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, Ben, you'd think he'd be due for a win against NC State. But moving on, give me your prediction. Does Syracuse snap its losing streak against NC State?
I'm going to say no. Syracuse is going to extend their losing streak to 8 games. They're going to lose by the final same score as they did last time they met, 24-17.
You know what? These players love playing for Scott Shafer. 31-27. Syracuse won on the road 2 years ago. Scott Shafer familiar with the territory. For these young players, you can't use youth as an excuse anymore. And now you're at the 11th game, the 11th hour. I think Syracuse will get the win, though. 31-27. You got to score points. Syracuse has done well in the turnover department so far this year, and I think that will continue into Saturday's game.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Hey, you know what? Someone's got to do it around here.
Well, these guys are split. Michael Tricarico, though, heard it here first. Syracuse snaps its 7-game losing streak against NC State. For Michael Barth, Michael Tricarico, and Ben Roth, that'll do it for this webisode of Cuse Countdown.